In this audiobook, you'll discover the secrets to breaking free from all limitations and unlocking your infinite potential. You are more than the beliefs that have caged you. Now is the time to dissolve these illusions and step into the boundless power within you. The end of limitation. Introduction. In the depths of your being lies a truth so magnificent, it has remained hidden beneath layers of accumulated beliefs, waiting for the perfect moment to emerge. That moment is now. The wisdom you're about to uncover has existed since time immemorial, passed down through generations of those who dared to question the boundaries of human potential. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has guided you to these teachings at precisely the right moment. As you venture deeper into these teachings, you'll discover that the walls you've built around your potential are mere illusions, constructs of thought that dissolve in the light of higher understanding. The power to reshape your reality has always resided within you, waiting patiently for recognition. This journey will challenge everything you believe about yourself and the nature of existence. It will reveal the true scope of your capabilities, far beyond what you've imagined possible. The principles contained within these pages aren't new. They are as old as consciousness itself, preserved by those who understood their transformative power. You're about to step into a realm where possibility knows no bounds, where the word impossible loses its meaning, and where your deepest aspirations transform into living reality. This is more than a book. It is a key to unlocking the infinite potential that has always existed within you. The time has come to shed the constraints of limited thinking and embrace the boundless nature of your true self. Every page turns with purpose, every word carries the weight of ancient wisdom, and every teaching opens another door to your liberation. Part 1. The Awakening from Illusion. Chapter 1. The Veil of Limitation. In a distant land, there lived a magnificent songbird in a cage of pure gold. Its perch was lined with silk, its water served in crystal bowls, and its food presented on plates of silver. Day after day, the bird sang sweetly, admiring its luxurious surroundings, never once questioning why it couldn't stretch its wings beyond the ornate bars that enclosed it. The truth of your existence mirrors this bird's tale. You too reside within invisible confines, beliefs that have become so familiar, so comfortable, that you've ceased to recognize them as barriers. These limiting beliefs weave through the fabric of your thoughts like golden threads, beautiful yet binding. Just as the bird accepted its cage as the entirety of its world, you may have embraced certain thoughts as unchangeable truths. I am not talented enough. Success comes hard. Change is difficult. These beliefs cast long shadows across the landscape of your potential, creating boundaries that exist nowhere but in your mind. Consider how these mental constructs came to be. Like drops of water wearing grooves in stone, repeated thoughts and experiences have carved channels in your consciousness. Each time you've accepted a limitation, each moment you've turned away from possibility, you've added another bar to your cage. In a small village high in the mountains, a young sage meditated daily beneath an ancient tree. Though wise beyond his years, he believed his understanding complete, until one day an elder approached him. "What do you see?" the elder whispered, gesturing to the vast valley below. "I see all there is to see," the young sage replied confidently. The elder smiled gently. "Close your eyes," he instructed. "Now, what do you hear?" In the silence that followed, the young sage became aware of sounds he'd never noticed, the whisper of wind through distant trees, the song of birds he couldn't name, the murmur of streams hidden from view. When he opened his eyes, the valley appeared transformed, alive with possibilities he'd been blind to moments before. Like the young sage, you stand at the threshold of a greater awareness. The limitations you've accepted are not walls of stone, but veils of thought, ready to dissolve in the light of understanding. Each belief that holds you back is like those unheard sounds, present yet unacknowledged, powerful only in its invisibility. Let's now talk about the practice that I have for you. This practice is called the dissolving cage. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Visualize yourself within a cage of your own making. Each bar represents a limiting belief you've carried. Touch these bars in your mind. Feel their weight, their solidity. What are they made of? What beliefs do they represent? Now imagine a warm, golden light emanating from your heart. Watch as this light grows stronger, touching each bar of your cage. See how these bars, these limitations begin to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Feel the sensation of boundless space opening around you. Breathe into this freedom, this limitless potential that has always been your true nature. Stay with this feeling of expansion, allowing yourself to experience life beyond the boundaries you once accepted as real. Let this new awareness settle into your being, reminding you of who you truly are: unlimited, unbounded, free. Chapter 2. Origins of the Inner Cage. In a secluded valley, snuggled between ancient mountains, there lived a community who believed with absolute certainty that the world ended where the sky touched the earth. Generation after generation dwelt in this conviction, their lives bounded by an imaginary line drawn across distant hills. None dared venture beyond this self-imposed boundary, for in their minds there lay only void. You may smile at such simplicity, yet within your own mind exist similar horizons. Boundaries accepted without question, limits inherited from those who came before. These mental horizons shape your reality, just as surely as that village's beliefs shaped theirs. The walls of your perception were built brick by brick, thought by thought, through years of watching, listening, and absorbing the beliefs of others. Parents who cautioned against reaching too high, teachers who defined your capabilities, societies that prescribed your proper place, all contributed to the invisible architecture of your limitations. These borrowed beliefs sink deep roots into the soil of your consciousness. They whisper warnings when you dream too big, pull you back when you stride too far, and paint pictures of impossibility when you glimpse opportunity. Yet unlike true horizons, these boundaries exist only in thought, maintained by nothing more than habit and heredity. Along a dusty road that wound through barren lands, a traveler encountered an elder sitting beneath a gnarled tree. The traveler, weary from journey, spoke of his destination, a legendary city said to lie beyond the next mountain range. "Impossible," the elder declared. "I have lived 90 years, and my father before me and his father before him all knew that nothing exists beyond those peaks." The traveler smiled and reached into his pack, withdrawing a piece of fruit unknown to the elder. "This grows in abundance there," he said simply. "I have seen it with my own eyes." The elder held the fruit, its unfamiliar weight challenging everything he had ever known to be true. In that moment, his world expanded beyond the boundaries of inherited knowledge. This tale speaks to the power of questioning inherited wisdom. Like the elder, you carry beliefs passed down through generations about wealth, about capability, about what is and isn't possible for someone like you. These are not your truths. They are merely thoughts you were taught to think. Bring your focus now on the practice that I have for you. Take your journal and create 2 columns. In the first, list the beliefs you hold about success, happiness, and your own potential. In the second column, trace each belief to its source. Ask yourself, did this belief arise from my own experience, or was it handed to me by others? Does it serve my growth, or does it confine me? Write without judgment, allowing yourself to question even the most deeply rooted convictions. Chapter 2. Origins of the Inner Cage. In a secluded valley snuggled between ancient mountains, there lived a community who believed with absolute certainty that the world ended where the sky touched the earth. Generation after generation dwelt in this conviction, their lives bounded by an imaginary line drawn across distant hills. None dared venture beyond this self-imposed boundary, for in their minds there lay only void. You may smile at such simplicity, yet within your own mind exist similar horizons, boundaries accepted without question, limits inherited from those who came before. These mental horizons shape your reality just as surely as that village's beliefs shaped theirs. The walls of your perception were built brick by brick, thought by thought, through years of watching, listening, and absorbing the beliefs of others. Parents who cautioned against reaching too high, teachers who defined your capabilities, societies that prescribed your proper place, all contributed to the invisible architecture of your limitations. These borrowed beliefs sink deep roots into the soil of your consciousness. They whisper warnings when you dream too big, pull you back when you stride too far, and paint pictures of impossibility when you glimpse opportunity. Yet unlike true horizons, these boundaries exist only in thought, maintained by nothing more than habit and heredity. Along a dusty road that wound through barren lands, a traveler encountered an elder sitting beneath a gnarled tree. The traveler, weary from journey, spoke of his destination, a legendary city said to lie beyond the next mountain range. "Impossible," the elder declared. "I have lived 90 years, and my father before me and his father before him. All knew that nothing exists beyond those peaks." The traveler smiled and reached into his pack, withdrawing a piece of fruit unknown to the elder. "This grows in abundance there," he said simply. "I have seen it with my own eyes." The elder held the fruit, its unfamiliar weight challenging everything he had ever known to be true. In that moment, his world expanded beyond the boundaries of inherited knowledge. This tale speaks to the power of questioning inherited wisdom. Like the elder, you carry beliefs passed down through generations about wealth, about capability, about what is and isn't possible for someone like you. These are not your truths, they are merely thoughts you were taught to think. Bring your focus now on the practice that I have for you. Take your journal and create 2 columns. In the first, list the beliefs you hold about success, happiness, and your own potential. In the second column, trace each belief to its source. Ask yourself, did this belief arise from my own experience, or was it handed to me by others? Does it serve my growth, or does it confine me? Write without judgment, allowing yourself to question even the most deeply rooted convictions. Chapter 4. Rediscovering Inner Power. In a distant valley where shepherds tended their flocks lived a peculiar sight. A lion who believed himself a sheep. Found as a cub and raised among the flock, he bleated instead of roared, grazed instead of hunted, and trembled at shadows like his woolen companions. His mighty mane he mistook for excessive wool. His powerful frame he saw as burdensome, and his natural majesty remained dormant beneath years of misidentification. You possess power beyond measure, yet like this lion, you may walk through life unaware of your true nature. Within you dwells the same force that ignites stars and orchestrates the dance of galaxies. The universe has planted within your being the seeds of unlimited potential, waiting only for recognition to burst into full bloom. Your power to dissolve limitations springs not from external sources, but wells up from the depths of your own consciousness. Every master, sage, and teacher throughout history has pointed to this fundamental truth. The kingdom lies within. When you truly grasp this principle, every barrier begins to dissolve. Every obstacle reveals itself as an illusion. The voice that whispers, "I cannot," belongs not to your true self, but to the sheep's clothing you have worn. Your authentic nature knows no bounds, recognizes no limitations, and needs no permission to express its magnificence. Like the lion who has forgotten his roar, you need only remember what you truly are. In the mountains where artisans worked the ancient stone quarries lived a humble stonecutter who believed himself weak and insignificant. Day after day he compared himself to others, the wealthy merchant who commissioned the stones, the master sculptor who transformed them into art, the strong laborers who moved the largest blocks. One night in a dream, the mountain itself spoke to him. "Why do you diminish yourself? The strength to split my stones lies not in your tools but in your essence. You are not separate from me, nor from the force that raised me from the earth's depths." Upon awakening, the stonecutter approached his work with new eyes. He felt the ancient power flowing through his hands, recognized the artistry in each strike of his chisel, and understood that his worth came not from comparison, but from being fully himself. This tale mirrors your own journey. The power to transform your reality requires no external validation or additional qualities. You need not become something else to claim your birthright of unlimited potential. Like the stonecutter, your task is not to acquire power, but to recognize what has always been present. Here's a sacred practice for you, one that has been passed down through the ages by those who understood the deeper truths of existence. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing each breath to carry you deeper into stillness. Visualize yourself standing before a mirror, seeing the accumulated layers of false identities you have worn, the doubts, the limitations, the borrowed beliefs. Now imagine these layers beginning to dissolve, like morning mist in the rising sun. With each breath, watch another false limitation fade away. Feel the growing lightness as you shed these artificial constraints. As the last layer dissolves, behold your true self emerging, radiant, unlimited, powerful beyond measure. Let this power flow through every cell of your being, expanding into every area of your life. Feel it transforming your relationships, your work, your sense of purpose. Know that this is your natural state, not something to achieve, but simply to remember and allow. Chapter 5. Awareness as the Sacred Key. In a time long forgotten, a traveler lost his way in a vast desert. As darkness fell, panic began to cloud his mind, each dune identical to the last. Yet in his moment of deepest despair, he remembered the ancient wisdom passed down by his ancestors to look up. There, in the endless tapestry of stars, he found his true north, and with it, the path home. You stand now at a similar crossroads where awareness becomes your guiding light. Just as the traveler discovered salvation by lifting his gaze to the heavens, your liberation begins with the simple act of becoming aware, Every limitation that binds you exists first in the realm of thought, waiting to be noticed, understood, and ultimately transcended. Awareness acts as the great dissolver of limitations. When you bring conscious attention to a belief that has held you captive, its power begins to fade, like shadows scattered by dawn's first light. This principle operates with unwavering certainty. What you observe with clear awareness cannot maintain its grip on your consciousness. Think of your mind as a vast sky and your thoughts as clouds passing through it. Some of these clouds carry the rain of limitation, darkening your perspective and narrowing your possibilities. Yet the sky remains forever untouched, eternally free. You are this sky, boundless, clear, and unconfined. In the high mountains where silence speaks louder than words, a young seeker approached an elder known for his wisdom. "I feel trapped," the seeker said, "though I see no walls around me." The elder smiled and picked up a leaf floating on a nearby stream. "Watch," he said, holding the leaf before the seeker's eyes. "Do not try to change what you see. Simply observe." As the seeker watched, the leaf slowly dried in the sun, its edges curling, its color shifting. "You see," the elder spoke softly, "transformation requires no effort beyond pure awareness. Your thoughts are like this leaf. When you observe them without judgment, their nature reveals itself, and change follows naturally." This wisdom speaks directly to your journey. The walls that seem to confine you exist primarily because they remain unexamined. Like the seeker in the mountains, your path to freedom lies not in struggling against limitations, but in developing the art of conscious observation. Here is an ancient practice preserved through generations, designed to awaken this power of awareness within you. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Settle into a comfortable position, allowing your body to become still. Let your breath find its natural rhythm, neither forced nor controlled. Now, as you sit in stillness, begin to observe your thoughts as they arise. Watch them like clouds drifting across the vast sky of your consciousness. Notice how some thoughts carry whispers of limitation. "I can't. I'm not enough. This is impossible." Don't try to change these thoughts. Don't judge them. Simply observe their presence, their texture, their influence on your being. As you continue this practice, you'll begin to recognize patterns, recurring thoughts that have shaped your perception of what's possible. Let awareness be your only action. Watch how these limiting thoughts, when exposed to the light of conscious attention, begin to lose their substance, like morning mist dissipating in the warmth of the rising sun. Chapter 6. Awakening the Seed of Infinity. In a garden untouched by time, a humble gardener held a single seed in his weathered palm. With reverence, he planted it in rich soil, unaware that within its tiny form lay the blueprint of an entire forest. As he tended to this solitary seed day after day, he could not fathom the vast potential sleeping within its shell. You, like this seed, contain within you the essence of infinite possibility. The universal law of potential reveals that every soul carries the blueprint of boundless creation, waiting to burst forth into manifestation. Just as a mighty oak exists completely within its acorn, your greatest achievements, most magnificent dreams, and highest purpose already exist within you in seed form. This sacred truth has been whispered through the ages, that you are not merely a being of limitation, but a vessel of infinite potential. The universe has planted within you the seed of greatness, and every limiting belief you release allows this seed to receive more light, to draw more nourishment, to grow beyond what you once thought possible. Consider how a single seed contains the genetic coding for countless forests. Within its microscopic structure lies the information to create not just one tree, but generations of trees, each producing thousands more seeds, each containing the same infinite potential. This mirrors the truth of your own nature, that what appears small and finite on the surface holds unlimited possibility within. In a monastery high in the mountains, a young monk approached his teacher with confusion in his heart. "Master," he said, "I have searched everywhere for enlightenment, but I feel no closer than when I began." The teacher smiled and produced a small seed from his robe. "What do you see?" he asked. "A seed," replied the young monk. "Look deeper," the teacher instructed. "This seed contains entire forests, rivers formed by the shade of its trees, creatures dwelling in its branches, and seeds of its own, each containing more forests. Infinity exists within the finite. Just as this seed contains worlds within worlds, you contain universes within yourself. Your only limitation is your belief in limitation itself." This teaching speaks to the infinite nature of your being. Like the young monk, you may have searched outside yourself for what has always existed within. The seed of your potential carries within it every dream you've ever dreamed, every goal you've ever set, every vision you've held dear, and infinitely more. Now let us engage in an ancient practice designed to awaken this sleeping giant within you. Find a quiet space and assume a comfortable position. Close your eyes and let your breath become steady and deep. Visualize a small golden seed of light in the center of your being. Feel its warmth, its power, its infinite potential. With each breath, watch as this seed begins to pulse with life. See it crack open, releasing a tender shoot of pure light. Feel it growing, expanding, reaching upward through every part of your body. Watch as branches of light extend through your arms, your legs, your chest, your head. Feel roots of energy anchoring deeply into the earth beneath you. See leaves of possibility unfurling in every direction, each one representing a different aspect of your unlimited potential. As this tree of light grows within you, feel it dissolving every barrier, every limitation, every belief that has held you back. Let it continue expanding until its light fills not just your body, but radiates outward, touching everything around you with its golden glow. Chapter 7. Breaking the Glass of Self-Doubt. In a sun-filled studio, a young artist named Maya stood before her masterpiece, her hand trembling as she reached to remove the cloth that concealed it. Though her work held beauty beyond measure, fear gripped her heart, keeping the cloth firmly in place, her art hidden from the world's eyes. You too may recognize this moment, when self-doubt casts its shadow over your brightest light. The invisible barriers you face are not wrought of iron or stone, but of thoughts crystallized into what appears as unbreakable glass. These transparent walls seem so real that you dare not test their strength, yet they exist only in the realm of belief. The universal law of self-expression teaches that doubt serves as the architect of these glass ceilings, building layer upon layer of transparent restriction above your dreams. Each time you step back from opportunity, each moment you hesitate to share your gifts, another sheet of glass appears, creating a prison so subtle you might mistake it for protection. Yet these barriers, seemingly solid, possess no more substance than morning mist. They maintain their power through your belief in their reality, drawing strength from every moment you honor their existence. The truth lies in understanding that these walls of doubt are as fragile as they are false. Along a winding mountain path, a traveler encountered an elderly woman sitting beside a crystal-clear pool. The traveler spoke of his journey, lamenting the many barriers that stood between him and his dreams. The woman gestured to the pool. "Touch the surface," she instructed. As his finger met the water, ripples spread outward, distorting the perfect reflection. Your doubts are like this surface. They appear solid until the moment you touch them. Then they reveal their true nature. Mere illusions disturbed by the slightest challenge. This wisdom echoes through your own experience. Each self-doubt that holds you back is nothing more than a reflection on water, maintaining its power only until you gather the courage to disturb its surface. To transform this understanding into liberation, engage in this sacred practice of shattering illusions. Take your journal and find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. At the top of the page, write, "I release these doubts to the wind." List every self-doubt that has held you back, each fear that has kept you small. See them materialize on the page, becoming solid and real. Now, close your eyes and imagine each doubt as a pane of glass floating before you. See how the light plays through it, how fragile it truly is. One by one, visualize yourself approaching each glass pane. Feel its illusory nature. With your mind's eye, watch as these barriers shatter, not with violence, but with the gentle touch of truth. Hear the musical sound of liberation as each false ceiling dissolves into stardust. Return to your journal and beside each doubt write, "This limitation is now dissolved." Feel the lightness that comes with each declaration, the spaciousness that opens above you as these artificial ceilings disappear. Chapter 8. Choosing Freedom Over Fear. At the edge of an ancient forest where shadows met light, a wanderer paused at a fork in the path. Before them stretched two distinct trails, one bathed in golden sunlight, winding up a steep and challenging mountain, the other a comfortable descent into familiar darkness where the air hung thick with the whispers of safety. You stand now at your own crossroads, where every moment presents the choice between the known comfort of limitation and the luminous uncertainty of freedom. The path you choose shapes not just your next step, but the very essence of who you become. Within the depths of your being lies an eternal truth. Liberation begins with choice. Each time you face fear's persuasive voice, you encounter an opportunity to step into boundless possibility or retreat into the familiar cage of limitation. Fear, in its cleverness, often disguises itself as wisdom, whispering of safety and certainty. Yet true wisdom knows that growth dwells beyond comfort's boundaries. The choice between fear and freedom rarely announces itself with fanfare. Instead, it appears in quiet moments, when you consider speaking your truth, pursuing your dreams, or standing in your power. In these instances, fear offers its seductive promise of security, while freedom beckons you toward expansion. In a distant valley, there lived a soul whose heart yearned for more than the village walls could contain. Each dawn, they watched others embrace their daily routines, finding comfort in the predictable rhythm of limited lives. Yet within their chest burned a flame that no amount of safety could extinguish. One morning, as others turned to their familiar tasks, this brave soul stepped beyond the village gates. Fear whispered its warnings, painting pictures of failure and loss. But with each step forward, they discovered something remarkable. The world expanded. Where fear had promised catastrophe, they found opportunity. Where it had threatened loneliness, they discovered connection. The very act of choosing freedom transformed their world from a confined space into an infinite canvas of possibility. This tale mirrors your own journey. In every area where fear has drawn its lines, freedom awaits your choice. Perhaps fear keeps you in a job that diminishes your spirit, or holds you back from sharing your gifts with the world. Maybe it convinces you to accept less than you deserve in relationships, or prevents you from pursuing the dreams that whisper to your heart. The path of light may appear daunting, yet it leads to the vastness your soul craves. Each step toward freedom, no matter how small, weakens fear's grip on your life. To begin your journey beyond fear's boundaries, engage in this transformative practice. Find a quiet space and bring forth paper and pen. Draw 2 columns, one labeled Fear's Territory and the other Freedom's Invitation. In the first column, write an area of your life where fear has held sovereign power. Be specific about how this fear has limited you. In the second column, write one small, concrete action that would represent choosing freedom in this situation. Now close your eyes and feel the weight of this choice. Let your breath deepen as you connect with the part of you that yearns for freedom. Open your eyes and circle the action that calls most strongly to your heart. This becomes your declaration of freedom, your first step on the sunlit path. Part 2. Walking the Path of Infinite Freedom. Chapter 9. Beliefs. In a small village known for its artisans lived a potter whose hands shaped not just clay, but reality itself. Each day he crafted vessels that reflected his innermost beliefs about beauty and worth. When he believed himself capable of only simple designs, his pots emerged plain and unremarkable. Yet on days when his spirit soared with possibility, his creations transformed into masterpieces of intricate detail and grace. You, like this humble potter, shape the clay of your existence through the silent power of your beliefs. These unseen architects work tirelessly, constructing the framework of your experiences, determining what you perceive as possible or impossible, beautiful or ordinary, achievable or beyond reach. Your beliefs operate as master builders, laying the foundation of your reality brick by brick. They whisper judgments about your capabilities, define the boundaries of your potential, and determine the height of your achievements. Like invisible hands molding clay, they shape every experience you encounter, every opportunity you recognize, and every limit you accept. When you enter a room, your beliefs precede you, coloring how others perceive you and how you interact with the world. They influence the opportunities you notice, the challenges you face, and the solutions you discover. These silent architects work with such subtlety that their influence often goes unrecognized, yet their impact reaches into every corner of your existence. In the mountains where wisdom dwellers gathered, a young disciple approached a sage, troubled by the walls that seemed to surround his life. "Master," he said, "no matter how I strive, I cannot break free from these barriers." The sage smiled and led him to a mirror. "What do you see?" she asked. "I see myself, confined by limitations," the disciple replied. The sage touched the mirror's surface, and it rippled like water. "Now look again." In the rippling reflection, the disciple saw himself standing in an open field, boundless sky above. "The barriers," he gasped, "they're gone." "They were never there," the sage revealed. "Your beliefs built those walls, and your beliefs can dissolve them. Change the architect. Change the structure." Just as the disciple discovered, your beliefs construct the reality you inhabit. Every thought that passes through your mind either reinforces the existing architecture or begins to reshape it. When you recognize this truth, you gain the power to become the conscious architect of your experience. To begin reconstructing the architecture of your mind, take these moments to engage in a sacred practice of transformation. Find a quiet space where you can write without interruption. On a clean page, Inscribe a belief that has limited your expansion. Examine its structure, feeling how it has shaped your world. Now, with deliberate intention, craft a new belief that opens the doors to possibility. Where the old belief built walls, let the new one create windows. Where it imposed ceilings, let the new one open to the sky. Write this empowering belief beneath the old one, feeling the shift in energy as you do so. Choose this new belief as your daily mantra, repeating it with conviction as you walk through your day. Let it become the new blueprint from which your reality takes shape. With each repetition, you lay fresh foundation stones for a more expansive existence. Chapter 10: Unearthing and Releasing Limits. In a distant land where mountains touch the clouds, a miner spent his days searching for gold. Each morning he descended into the depths, his lamp casting shadows on walls of ancient stone. Layer by layer he chipped away at the rock, knowing that somewhere beneath lay treasure untold. Many abandoned their search, deeming the work too difficult, but he understood that each layer removed brought him closer to his goal. You too stand before layers of accumulated beliefs, each one obscuring the treasure of your unlimited nature. These layers, formed in the earliest moments of your existence, have hardened into what appears as solid truth. Yet, like the miner, you possess the tools to break through them, revealing the golden essence that lies within. As you venture deeper into your inner landscape, you encounter beliefs laid down in childhood, statements accepted as truth before you could question them. "You're not good enough," whispers one layer. "This is all there is," mutters another. Each stratum represents a limitation you've accepted, a boundary you've allowed to define you. The process of uncovering your true nature requires patience and persistence. Just as the miner doesn't expect to find gold in his first swing, you must approach this excavation with gentle determination. Each limiting belief you identify becomes a layer to be examined, understood, and finally released. Some beliefs lie so deep you might not recognize them as beliefs at all. They masquerade as facts, as unchangeable truths about life and your place in it. Yet even these most fundamental limitations are simply layers of rock, waiting to be cleared away. Along the ancient Silk Road, a traveler rested beneath an old tree. As she sat, something caught her eye, a corner of metal protruding from beneath centuries of accumulated earth. With curious hands, she began to dig, removing stone after stone. Others passed by, seeing only dirt and rock, but she persisted. As the sun began to set, her hands struck something solid, an ancient chest, its surface gleaming with precious gems and gold. Inside lay not just treasure, but a message inscribed in flowing script. "What lies buried beneath the weight of ages waits for one who dares to dig deeper." Like this traveler, you stand before the accumulated layers of your own limiting beliefs. Each one you clear away reveals another glimpse of the treasure within, your unlimited potential, waiting to be discovered. Now find a quiet space where you can journey within. Close your eyes and visualize yourself standing before a great wall of earth. See each layer clearly. Perhaps they appear as different colors or textures, each representing a limiting belief you've carried. Begin to dig, gently but purposefully. As you remove each layer, name the belief it represents. Feel its weight as you set it aside. Notice how, with each layer removed, a soft golden light begins to shine through from deeper within. Continue this excavation layer by layer until you reach your radiant core, the unlimited being you truly are. Feel the warmth and power of this inner light, no longer hidden beneath layers of limitation. Let it fill you, reminding you of your true nature. Chapter 11: Stories We Tell and How to Rewrite Them. In a village where words danced on the evening breeze, there lived a storyteller whose tales enchanted all who listened. Night after night, he wove narratives that transported his audience to distant lands and magical realms. Yet as the moon rose one evening, he realized that while spinning stories for others, he had unknowingly crafted the most powerful tale of all, the story of his own life. You, like this storyteller, are constantly weaving narratives that shape your existence. With each thought, each interpretation of events, you craft stories that become the foundation of your reality. These stories are not mere reflections of truth, but architects of your experience, silently directing your choices, actions, and beliefs. The words you whisper to yourself in moments of challenge or triumph become the threads from which your life's tapestry is woven. I always struggle with this. Becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. This never works out for me. Transforms into a recurring theme. These narratives, repeated in the quiet chambers of your mind, grow roots that reach deep into the soil of your consciousness. Yet within you lies the power to reshape these stories. Each limitation you perceive began as a narrative, a story you accepted as truth. By recognizing this, you gain the ability to pick up the quill of consciousness and write anew. In the halls of an ancient library, a young writer spent her days recording the stories of others. Her own tale was one of hesitation and doubt, filled with phrases like someday and if only. One morning, as sunlight streamed through dusty windows, she discovered a blank book with her name on its cover. Understanding dawned. This was her story, waiting to be written. With trembling hands, she began to write. Where once stood fear, she wrote of courage. Where doubt had lingered, she penned certainty. Page by page, she transformed her narrative from one of limitation to one of infinite possibility. As the final words dried on the page, she realized the story she had written was already coming true. This tale mirrors your own power to reshape your narrative. The stories you tell about yourself are not carved in stone, but written in ink that can be revised, renewed, and reimagined. Take now your journal and find a quiet moment. On its pages, write the story you've been telling about yourself, the one that whispers of limitations and doubts. Read it carefully, noting the phrases and themes that have bound you. Now, on a fresh page, begin again. Write your story anew, but this time infuse every line with possibility. Where you once wrote of fear, write of courage. Where limitation stood, let possibility reign. Create a narrative that resonates with your true potential, one that speaks of strength, resilience, and unlimited growth. Let this new story become your daily reading, a sacred text that reminds you of who you truly are. For in rewriting your narrative, you rewrite your reality. Chapter 12. Faith as the Fire of Limitlessness. In a village tucked between ancient mountains, a blacksmith worked tirelessly at his forge. Each morning he would kindle a small flame, nurturing it until it blazed with enough intensity to transform raw metal into objects of beauty and purpose. Those who watched him work noticed that he spoke to the fire as if it were a living force, whispering words of trust as he placed each piece of metal into the flames. You hold within you a similar fire, the transformative power of faith. Like the blacksmith's flame, faith begins as a spark, a subtle knowing that grows stronger with each passing moment you tend to it. This inner fire possesses the power to reshape your reality, melting away the seemingly solid barriers that stand before you. Faith transcends mere hoping or wishing. It exists as an unwavering knowledge, a deep-seated certainty that flows through every fiber of your being. When you embrace true faith, Doubt dissolves like morning mist before the rising sun. The limitations that once seemed insurmountable begin to shift and transform, revealing their illusory nature. Just as the blacksmith knows with certainty that fire will transform metal, you must cultivate an unshakable knowing that your potential knows no bounds. This knowing becomes the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. Without faith, even the grandest dreams remain suspended in the realm of possibility. With faith, they crystallize into reality. Along a winding mountain path, a wanderer journeyed through dense fog. Though he could see only a few steps ahead, he moved forward with steady confidence. Others who passed him asked, "How can you journey when the path is unclear?" He simply smiled and replied, "The path reveals itself to those who trust in their steps." The wanderer's tale mirrors a profound truth. Faith does not require clear sight of the entire journey. It asks only that you trust in each step, knowing that the path unfolds perfectly before you. Like the wanderer, you need not see the entire road ahead. Your task is simply to maintain unwavering faith in your journey and your boundless capacity to travel it. This wanderer's wisdom speaks directly to your own path. How often have you hesitated because you could not see the entire journey ahead? Yet within you burns the same faith that guided his steps through the fog. This faith, when fully embraced, dissolves the need for complete clarity before taking action. To kindle your own flame of faith, find a quiet moment each day. Close your eyes and speak these words with complete conviction. I have unwavering faith in my limitless potential. Let each repetition stoke the fires of certainty within you. Feel the truth of these words resonating through your entire being, transforming doubt into unshakable knowing. Chapter 13, Imagination. In a sun-filled studio, a painter stood before her canvas, brushes poised in hesitation. For years, she had worked with the same palette of colors, creating art that pleased others but left her spirit yearning. One morning, as light streamed through her window, she noticed how it scattered into countless hues she had never dared to capture. In that moment, she realized her palette had been limited not by her paints, but by the boundaries of her own imagination. You possess within you this same infinite palette of possibility. Your imagination stands as the sacred gateway through which all creation flows. It exists as the divine lens that reveals what lies beyond the apparent limitations of your current reality. Through this lens, you glimpse the vastness of your potential, unbound by the seeming constraints of circumstance. The imagination serves as your bridge between the visible and invisible realms. It allows you to perceive what others might call impossible, to envision realities that transcend current conditions. Like a master artist mixing colors never before seen, you hold the power to blend new possibilities into being through the creative force of your imaginative vision. When you learn to harness this gift, you begin to see that your current reality represents merely one brushstroke on an infinite canvas. The limitations you perceive exist only because you have not yet imagined beyond them. As you expand your inner vision, these boundaries dissolve, revealing endless possibilities that have always existed, waiting for you to discover them. In a village beneath starlit skies, a child spent every evening gazing upward, dreaming of touching the stars. While others spoke of impossibility, the child saw only invitation in those distant lights. Night after night, this young dreamer would reach toward the heavens, feeling no distance between earth and sky. In time, those who watched the child began to see the stars differently, not as distant points of light, but as possibilities waiting to be reached. This child's pure vision reflects the natural state of your imagination, unbounded, unlimited, and unafraid to dream beyond conventional boundaries. Like this young stargazer, you too can reclaim that innocent wisdom which knows no impossibilities. Your imagination holds the power to dissolve the artificial barriers between where you stand and where you wish to be. Just as the child saw no separation between earth and stars, you can learn to see no division between your current circumstances and your grandest visions. Through the lens of imagination, limitations transform into launching points, obstacles become opportunities, and dreams reveal themselves as previews of coming realities. Now find a peaceful space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and allow your imagination to soar beyond all perceived limitations. See yourself living in complete freedom, uninhibited by any boundaries. Paint this vision in vivid detail, the colors, sounds, sensations, and feelings of your limitless life. Let your imagination guide you through this expanded reality, showing you possibilities you may have never before considered. Hold this vision daily, allowing it to become clearer and stronger with each viewing through your infinite lens. Chapter 14. Turning Thoughts into Boundless Energy. High upon a windswept hill stood an ancient windmill, its mighty arms turning steadily in the unseen currents of air. Day after day, it transformed the invisible force of wind into tangible power that brought life to the valley below. Those who lived in its shadow often forgot the profound truth it represented, that unseen forces shape the visible world. You, like this windmill, stand at the intersection of invisible and visible realms. Your thoughts, though unseen, generate currents of energy that flow through the fabric of reality. Each thought emanates a specific frequency, creating ripples that extend far beyond your immediate awareness. These ripples attract corresponding energies, manifesting as the circumstances and experiences of your life. The universe responds not to your words or actions alone, but to the energetic signature of your thoughts. When you understand this principle, you begin to grasp the profound responsibility and power you hold. Every thought becomes a seed of creation, carrying within it the potential to flourish into physical reality. Your mind operates as a powerful broadcasting station, continuously sending signals into the universal field. These signals, your thoughts, carry specific frequencies that resonate with matching energies. Thoughts of abundance attract abundant circumstances. Thoughts of limitation attract limiting experiences. In a remote monastery, a young monk struggled with turbulent thoughts that seemed beyond his control. His master observed his distress and led him to a still pond. "Watch," the master instructed, dropping a pebble into the water. Ripples spread across the surface, disturbing its pristine reflection. Then, with practiced patience, the master showed the monk how to wait for the water to calm, teaching him that thoughts, like ripples, could be mastered through conscious attention. Day by day, the monk learned to observe his thoughts rather than be carried away by them. He discovered that by choosing his thoughts carefully, he could create harmony or discord in his life at will. As his mastery grew, so did his ability to manifest his intentions, for his thoughts now flowed in pure, focused streams of creative energy. This monk's journey mirrors your own potential for thought mastery. Each moment presents an opportunity to choose thoughts that align with your highest vision. By cultivating awareness of your thought patterns, you gain the power to direct your mental energy toward manifestation rather than limitation. Your thoughts are the invisible architects of your destiny. Like the windmill that harnesses the wind, you can learn to harness the power of your thoughts, transforming their energy into the reality you desire to create. Now bring your focus to this powerful practice. Throughout your day, Whenever you notice a limiting thought arise, pause and consciously replace it with an empowering alternative. For instance, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't afford this," immediately transform it to, "I am attracting abundant resources." If the thought, "This is impossible," surfaces, shift it to, "I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to." This practice trains your mind to automatically generate thoughts that resonate with unlimited possibility, creating an energy field that attracts corresponding manifestations. Chapter 15, A Mindset Without Borders. In the days when maps bore warnings of dragons at their edges, a seasoned explorer named Marcus set sail into uncharted waters. His fellow sailors whispered of the dangers that awaited beyond the known world, tales of sea monsters and the edge where oceans poured into the void. Yet Marcus felt a calling that transcended their fears, an inner knowing that truth lay beyond the boundaries of accepted wisdom. As his ship crossed the line where maps ended, something remarkable occurred. Instead of finding monsters or oblivion, Marcus discovered vibrant new lands, teeming with life and possibility. The world, he realized, was vastly larger than anyone had imagined. His greatest discovery was not a new shore or trading route, but the understanding that limits exist primarily in the mind. You too stand at the edge of your own map, gazing into the unknown. The boundaries you perceive, in your capabilities, your potential, your future, are like the ancient cartographer's dragons, imagined barriers that dissolve upon closer inspection. The universe extends far beyond the borders of your current understanding, inviting exploration of its infinite domains. To embrace a borderless mindset is to recognize that every horizon hints at new possibilities. Every answer opens the door to deeper questions. Like a vast ocean that knows no end, your potential flows without limitation. Each time you transcend a perceived boundary, you discover that it was merely a threshold to greater expansion. In a small village school, a wise teacher named Sarah noticed how her students confined their thinking within invisible walls. When they declared, "This is impossible," or "That's just how things are," she would smile knowingly and ask, "Are you certain?" Through gentle questioning, she taught them to examine their assumptions, to peer beyond the edges of conventional thinking. One day, she drew a circle on the ground and asked her students to stand within it. "This circle represents what you believe is possible," she explained. Then, with a sweep of her hand, she erased part of the circle. "But what lies beyond?" The children's eyes widened as they stepped across the broken boundary, understanding that limits exist only where we place them. This simple lesson carries profound wisdom for your journey. Each time you encounter a supposed limit, in your relationships, your work, your dreams, pause and ask yourself, "Is this truly a boundary, or merely the edge of my current map?" Feel the excitement of knowing that beyond every perceived limit lies an ocean of untapped potential. Your mind is designed for endless expansion. Like the explorer who discovered new worlds, you possess the ability to sail beyond the familiar, to question established boundaries, and to chart new territories of possibility. The only true limits are those you accept as real. To challenge the constraints you believe exist within yourself, here's an exercise that will serve you well. Begin each day by finding a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. As you inhale, feel yourself expanding beyond all perceived limitations. As you exhale, release any beliefs that constrain you. Then, with quiet conviction, speak the words, "I am limitless." Let this truth resonate through every cell of your being. Repeat this mantra throughout your day, especially when confronting apparent boundaries, allowing it to awaken the infinite potential that lies within you. Chapter 16. Embracing the mystery of the unknown. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, there lies a tale of a seeker who ventured into a mystical forest at dawn. The morning mist wrapped around the trees like silk veils, obscuring all but the next step before him. Though others warned him of the perils that might lurk in the unseen depths, something within called him forward. With each step into the white void, the path appeared beneath his feet, as if the forest itself responded to his trust. You stand now at the threshold of infinite possibility, where certainty dissolves into the mist of potential. The unknown stretches before you like that ancient forest, holding secrets and treasures beyond imagination. Your mind may whisper warnings, painting shadows of doubt in the spaces you cannot see. Yet within these spaces of uncertainty lies the fertile soil where all transformation takes root. To embrace the unknown is to unlock the gateway to boundless living. When you release your grip on the familiar, you free yourself to receive gifts beyond your current understanding. The universe operates in infinite ways, most of which remain hidden until you step forward in trust. In the heights of a mountain cliff, a young bird stood at the edge of its nest, wings trembling. The vast expanse of sky before it seemed both invitation and threat. For days it watched other birds soar, wondering how they first discovered their wings would carry them. Then one morning, moved by an inner knowing, it spread its wings and leaped. In that moment of complete uncertainty, as the wind rushed past, its wings caught the air. What seemed like falling transformed into flight, and in surrendering to the unknown, it discovered its true nature. This simple truth echoes through your own journey. Each time you face uncertainty, you stand at the edge of your nest, poised between the familiar and the infinite. Your wings of potential await only your trust to unfold. The mist that seems to obscure your path actually protects you from the limitations of knowing too much too soon. The unknown is not your enemy, but your ally. Like a blank canvas awaiting the artist's brush, it holds every possibility. Your willingness to step into uncertainty opens doorways that rigid certainty keeps firmly shut. In this space of not knowing, miracles take flight. As you prepare to deepen this ancient wisdom within your being, I offer you this sacred practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply as you imagine yourself standing at the edge of a misty forest. Feel the cool moisture on your skin, the soft earth beneath your feet. With each breath, allow yourself to step forward into the mist. Notice how the path appears with each step, how the fog parts just enough to show you the way. Let yourself feel the thrill of discovery as new vistas emerge. Spend several minutes walking this path, embracing the unknown with complete trust. When doubts arise, simply observe them floating away like wisps of mist. End by affirming, I trust in the unseen path before me. Part 3. Living as the Boundless Self. Chapter 17. The Art of Letting Go. In the ancient valleys of wisdom, there lived a traveler who journeyed far and wide, his back bent beneath the weight of a pack filled with stones. Each stone represented something he could not bear to release: expectations of success, attachments to specific outcomes, desires for recognition, and dreams shaped by others' ideals. Though his shoulders ached and his steps grew slower with each passing day, he continued gathering more stones, believing their weight essential to his journey. You, like this traveler, carry burdens that were never meant to be yours. These attachments and expectations weigh upon your spirit, limiting the heights to which you might soar. Each expectation of how life should unfold becomes another stone in your pack, another weight holding you earthbound. The universe operates through perfect flow, yet your attachments create resistance to this natural current. When you cling to specific outcomes, you close countless doors of possibility. Your expectations become the very bars of the cage you seek to escape, while true freedom awaits in the art of release. In a distant garden, there lived a tender of plants who struggled to grow new flowers in his garden. Day after day, he nurtured dying plants, refusing to remove them, believing that with enough care, they would flourish again. His garden remained stagnant until an old sage shared a simple truth. Only by clearing away the old can new life take root. Reluctantly, the gardener began removing the withered plants, and as he did, fresh shoots emerged from the newly opened soil, bringing forth blooms more beautiful than he had imagined possible. This wisdom speaks directly to your journey. Like the gardener, you may cling to outdated dreams, relationships, or beliefs, fearing that letting go means loss. Yet in release lies the secret of renewal. Each attachment you surrender creates space for unexpected blessings to enter your life. To transform this teaching into living wisdom, engage in this ancient practice of release. Sit in quietude with paper and pen before you. Write down each attachment, expectation, or specific outcome you currently hold. As you write each one, feel its weight in your being. Now, one by one, close your eyes and visualize each attachment as a stone in your hands. Feel its texture, its weight, its familiar presence. Then, with gentle intention, imagine yourself standing by a flowing river. Watch as you open your hands, allowing each stone to fall into the current, carried away by the waters of transformation. Feel the lightness that remains in your hands, the space that opens in your heart. Complete this practice by affirming, "In releasing, I become free. In surrender, I open to infinite possibility." Chapter 18. Trusting the Flow of Universal Harmony. In the ancient valleys where wisdom whispers through the ages, a river carved its path through the landscape. Neither planning nor striving, it simply flowed, finding the natural course through every obstacle. When boulders blocked its path, it didn't fight. It simply curved around them, transforming barriers into beauty. The river's dance with the land created valleys of abundance, nurturing life wherever it touched. You possess this same innate wisdom within you. The universal flow moves through your life just as water moves through the landscape. When you align with this flow, doors open effortlessly, opportunities arise naturally, and synchronicities appear like stepping stones across a stream. The resistance you feel in life stems from struggling against this natural current. You attempt to force outcomes, to swim upstream against the very force that seeks to carry you toward your highest good. Yet the universe, in its infinite wisdom, already knows the perfect path for your journey. Trust emerges not from controlling circumstances, but from surrendering to the greater intelligence that guides all things. When you release your grip on how things must be, you allow life to reveal possibilities beyond your limited vision. This surrender isn't weakness, it's the ultimate strength. Long ago, a sailor set out to master the seas. Day after day, he fought against the currents, believing that control meant forcing his way through the waters. His journeys were exhausting, his progress slow, his spirit weary from constant battle. Then one stormy night, when his strength failed him, he had no choice but to surrender to the currents. To his amazement, he discovered that the waters he had fought against actually knew the way. The currents carried him safely through the storm, and from that day forward, he learned to read and trust the waters rather than fight them. Like this sailor, you stand at a crucial point of choice. Will you continue exhausting yourself by fighting the natural flow of life? Or will you trust the currents that seek to guide you toward your highest good? The universe flows through your life like a mighty river, carrying opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your highest path. When you resist this flow through doubt, control, or fear, you create turbulence in your journey. But when you surrender to this divine current, you discover a peace and power beyond anything you could achieve through force. To embody this wisdom, enter into this sacred practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as a river. Feel the cool, clear water that is your essence. Notice how naturally you flow, how effortlessly you move around obstacles. Experience the freedom of surrendering to your own movement, neither pushing nor pulling, simply being. As thoughts or resistance arise, let them float away like leaves on your surface. Spend several minutes in this flow state, allowing yourself to fully experience the liberation of moving with life rather than against it. Complete this meditation by silently affirming, "I trust the flow of life. I surrender to divine guidance. I am carried perfectly to where I need to be." Chapter 19. Expanding joyfully into limitlessness. In the heart of an ancient temple, a dancer moved in perfect harmony with the music that filled the air. Her movements flowed like water, each gesture expressing pure freedom. As she danced, the boundaries between herself and the music dissolved until there was only the dance itself, a living expression of boundless joy. You stand now at the threshold of such freedom. The path of limitless living leads not only to achievement and power, but opens the gateway to profound joy. When you release the chains of restriction, every moment becomes infused with the lightness of being that is your natural state. Joy emerges naturally when you allow yourself to expand beyond familiar borders. Like a bird taking flight, your spirit soars in the open spaces of possibility. This isn't the fleeting happiness that comes from external events, but rather the deep wellspring of joy that flows when you align with your unlimited nature. Consider how children approach life. They don't question whether they can sing, dance, or create. They simply express themselves freely, finding joy in every new discovery. This natural state of boundless expression is your birthright. In a village snuggled among ancient hills, there lived a young child who discovered an empty wall. Without questioning whether she should or shouldn't, she began to paint. Her brush moved across the surface with complete freedom, colors flowing wherever her heart led them. The villagers watched in amazement as her joy transformed the blank wall into a vibrant masterpiece. She didn't paint for approval or recognition. She painted because her spirit called her to create without limits. This child's story mirrors your own potential for unrestrained joy. When you release the need to conform to expectations or stay within comfortable boundaries, you unlock the ability to experience life as an endless canvas of possibility. Each step beyond your familiar territory becomes an adventure. Every new experience a chance to expand into greater joy. The practice of boundless joy begins with small steps beyond your usual patterns. Take this moment to embrace an ancient ritual of expansion. Each day, choose one action that steps outside your routine or comfort zone. It need not be grand, perhaps taking a different route to work, trying a new food, or expressing yourself in a way you usually wouldn't. As you take this action, observe how your spirit lightens, how joy naturally arises when you break free from habitual limitations. Notice the spark of aliveness that comes with stepping into new territory. After each experience, pause to feel the expansion within you, letting the joy of freedom fill your being. This simple practice, passed down through generations of wisdom seekers, gradually dissolves the walls that contain your joy, allowing it to flow naturally and abundantly through every aspect of your life. Chapter 20. Living True to the Boundless Self. In the depths of an ancient forest, a magnificent phoenix lay dying, its once brilliant feathers dulled by time. As flames began to consume its form, the bird didn't resist but surrendered to the transformative fire. From these sacred ashes, a new phoenix emerged, more radiant than before, not because it had changed its essence, but because it had shed all that was not truly itself. You too carry within you this power of rebirth. Beyond the layers of expectation, beyond the masks worn to please others, lies your authentic self, boundless and free. This truth has been whispered through the ages. Your genuine nature cannot be contained by the limitations others place upon you. The journey to authentic living begins with recognition. Each role you play, each identity you've adopted, serves as a temporary vessel for your true essence. Yet these roles, like borrowed clothes, can become so familiar that you forget they're not your true form. Society's expectations, family traditions, and cultural norms weave a complex tapestry of shoulds and must-be's that often obscure your authentic nature. In the space between these external demands and your inner truth lies the opportunity for transformation. Like the phoenix, you need not destroy who you are to become who you're meant to be. You simply need to release what isn't genuinely yours. Deep in a dense forest stood a young tree, struggling to grow beneath the heavy canopy of older trees. Year after year it adapted to the dim light, bending and twisting to catch what little sunshine filtered through. Then one day a storm cleared a space above it. At first the tree hesitated, having grown accustomed to its confined existence. But gradually it began to stretch upward, its branches reaching naturally toward the open sky. With each passing season it grew straighter and stronger, not because it learned a new way to grow, but because it finally had the space to grow as nature intended. Like this tree, your authentic self requires space to emerge. The patterns and beliefs you've adopted to fit into your environment may have served a purpose, but they need not define your future growth. Your true nature, like the tree's inherent drive to grow upward, knows its own direction when given the freedom to express itself. This ancient wisdom speaks to the heart of limitless living. True freedom comes not from becoming something new, but from allowing your authentic self to emerge from beneath accumulated layers of external influence. To begin this sacred practice of authentic emergence, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Visualize yourself standing in a circle of soft light. As you stand there, begin to identify the aspects of yourself that may have been shaped by others, roles, behaviors, beliefs that you've adopted to please or conform. See each one as a translucent layer surrounding you. One by one, watch as these layers gently fade away, like morning mist in the sun. With each layer that dissolves, feel yourself becoming lighter, clearer, more authentically you. Stay with this vision until you sense your true essence shining through, boundless, free, and completely authentic. Open your eyes and carry this remembrance of your true self with you. Chapter 21. Creating from the Source of Freedom. In a sunlit chamber high in the mountains, a weaver sat before her loom. Each day she created tapestries following strict patterns passed down through generations. Her work was precise, technically flawless, yet something vital was missing. One morning, as dawn's light streamed through her window, She noticed how her anxious thoughts manifested in tight, constrained weaving, while her moments of peace produced flowing, harmonious patterns. In that instant, she understood. Her creations weren't merely reflecting her hands' movements, but the very state of her being. You possess this same creative force within you. Every thought, every action, every intention flows from your inner state into the fabric of reality. When you create from a place of limitation, bound by fears, doubts, or rigid expectations, your manifestations carry these constraints. But when you align with the boundless freedom of your true nature, your creative power knows no bounds. The universe itself creates without strain or struggle. Observe how flowers bloom, how rivers flow, how stars illuminate the night sky. This effortless emergence springs from the infinite freedom at the heart of existence. Your own creative force shares this same divine nature. Consider the musician who spent years perfecting others' compositions. Though his technical skill was unmatched, his music lacked the spark of life. One evening, frustrated by endless practice, he set aside his sheets of music and simply allowed his fingers to dance across the keys. In that moment of surrender, something remarkable emerged. A melody uniquely his own, born not from discipline but from freedom itself. The notes flowed through him like a clear stream, carrying the essence of his unbounded spirit. This story mirrors your own journey of creation. When you release the need to control every aspect, to follow predetermined patterns, you open yourself to the natural flow of creative energy. Your manifestations become not just expressions of skill, but channels for the infinite potential within you. The secret lies in creating from a state of liberated intention. Rather than forcing outcomes or clinging to specific forms, allow your creative essence to flow naturally, guided by authentic purpose rather than external demands. This is how true masters create, not through rigid control, but through aligned freedom. Bring your attention now to the sacred practice handed down through generations for you to embrace. Find a peaceful space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths, allowing tension to dissolve with each exhale. Bring to mind a project, dream, or desire you wish to manifest. Rather than immediately planning or structuring, simply hold this vision lightly in your awareness. Now, imagine all limitations, expectations, and preconceptions gently falling away. Watch as your vision begins to evolve naturally, like a flower opening to the sun. Let it transform, expand, or shift in unexpected ways. Don't direct or control, simply observe as it reveals its true form to you. Notice how this feels different from forced or constrained creation. Remain in this space of free-flowing possibility for several minutes, allowing your vision to show you what it wants to become. Chapter 22: Becoming the Embodiment of Infinite Possibility. In a sunlit chamber high in the mountains, a weaver sat before her loom. Each day she created tapestries following strict patterns passed down through generations. Her work was precise, technically flawless, yet something vital was missing. One morning, as dawn's light streamed through her window, she noticed how her anxious thoughts manifested in tight, constrained weaving, while her moments of peace produced flowing, harmonious patterns. In that instant, she understood. Her creations weren't merely reflecting her hands' movements, but the very state of her being. You possess this same creative force within you. Every thought, every action, every intention flows from your inner state into the fabric of reality. When you create from a place of limitation, bound by fears, doubts, or rigid expectations, Your manifestations carry these constraints. But when you align with the boundless freedom of your true nature, your creative power knows no bounds. The universe itself creates without strain or struggle. Observe how flowers bloom, how rivers flow, how stars illuminate the night sky. This effortless emergence springs from the infinite freedom at the heart of existence. Your own creative force shares this same divine nature. Consider the musician who spent years perfecting others' compositions. Though his technical skill was unmatched, his music lacked the spark of life. One evening, frustrated by endless practice, he set aside his sheets of music and simply allowed his fingers to dance across the keys. In that moment of surrender, something remarkable emerged, a melody uniquely his own, born not from discipline, but from freedom itself. The notes flowed through him like a clear stream, carrying the essence of his unbounded spirit. This tale mirrors the truth within your own being. When you release the need to control every aspect, to follow predetermined patterns, you open yourself to the natural flow of creative energy. Your manifestations become not expressions of mere skill, but channels for the infinite potential within you. The secret lies in creating from a state of liberated intention. Rather than forcing outcomes or clinging to specific forms, allow your creative essence to flow naturally, guided by authentic purpose rather than external demands. This is how true masters create, not through rigid control, but through aligned freedom. Let me share with you a mystical exercise to start uncovering these veiled insights. Find a peaceful space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths, allowing tension to dissolve with each exhale. Bring to mind a project, dream, or desire you wish to manifest. Rather than immediately planning or structuring, simply hold this vision lightly in your awareness. Now imagine all limitations, expectations, and preconceptions gently falling away. Watch as your vision begins to evolve naturally, like a flower opening to the sun. Let it transform, expand, or shift in unexpected ways. Don't direct or control. Simply observe as it reveals its true form to you. Notice how this feels different from forced or constrained creation. Remain in this space of free-flowing possibility for several minutes, allowing your vision to show you what it wants to become. Chapter 23. The Legacy of a Limitless Life. In a serene valley, where ancient wisdom whispered through towering trees, there lived a teacher whose greatest joy came from tending his garden. Each morning, as the sun painted the sky in gentle hues, he would plant seeds with careful intention, knowing full well that many would bloom long after his earthly journey ended. His students often questioned why he invested such care in flowers he might never see. With eyes twinkling, he would simply smile and continue his sacred work. You, like this wise gardener, carry within you seeds of infinite potential, not just for your own growth, but for generations yet to come. Every limitation you transcend, every boundary you dissolve, creates pathways for others to follow. Your journey toward boundless living ripples outward, touching countless lives in ways you may never witness. The universe operates through an eternal chain of influence where each awakened soul lights the way for others. As you shed the constraints of limited thinking, you demonstrate what's possible for all. Your courage in facing fears, your willingness to expand beyond comfort, your trust in infinite potential, these become beacons of inspiration. Consider now the tale of a small bird who lived high in the mountains. Each day, as it soared through valleys and over peaks, it carried seeds in its feathers. Without conscious intention, it scattered these seeds across the landscape. Years later, flowers bloomed in unexpected places, creating gardens where once there was only stone. The bird never knew the full extent of its gift, how its simple journey transformed the mountain landscape, creating beauty that would inspire travelers for generations. This story reflects the truth of your own impact. Every moment you choose to live beyond limitations, you scatter seeds of possibility. A child observing your courage might remember it decades later when facing their own challenges. A friend witnessing your transformation might find strength to begin their own journey. Even strangers, seeing you embrace your boundless nature, might question their own self-imposed barriers. Your legacy isn't measured merely in achievements or accomplishments, but in the liberation you inspire in others. Each time you choose expansion over contraction, trust over fear, infinite possibility over known limitations, you create ripples of transformation that extend far beyond your immediate experience. To anchor this wisdom in practical experience, engage in this sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and open your journal. Light a candle if you wish, creating an atmosphere of reverence. Begin writing about the legacy you wish to create through your limitless living. Imagine how your journey of expansion might inspire others, your family, friends, community, and even those you'll never meet. Describe specific ways your embrace of boundless living could illuminate paths for others. Write about the seeds you're planting today that will bloom in future generations. Let your vision expand beyond personal achievement to encompass the wider impact of your transformed consciousness. Chapter 24. Beyond Boundaries. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom there lies a tale of an explorer whose heart burned with the desire to reach the horizon. Day after day, he journeyed toward that distant line where earth meets sky, certain that once he reached it, he would find the edge of all things. Yet as he drew near what seemed the boundary of his world, he witnessed something extraordinary. The horizon simply expanded, revealing vast new territories he had never imagined. You stand now at such a threshold, where what once appeared to be the limit of possibility reveals itself as merely the gateway to greater expanses. The journey beyond limitation is not a destination, but an eternal dance of discovery, each step unveiling new realms of potential within you. The infinite nature of growth reveals itself in every aspect of existence. Just as a tree never stops reaching toward the light, your capacity for expansion knows no bounds. Each breakthrough, each transcended limitation, each moment of awakening serves not as an endpoint, but as an invitation to explore still deeper dimensions of your boundless nature. Consider now the tale of the mountain wanderer. After years of arduous climbing, he finally reached what he believed to be the highest peak in all the land. His heart swelled with accomplishment as he stood upon that lofty summit, until the morning mist parted to reveal endless ranges of mountains stretching into infinity, each more majestic than the last. In that moment, his initial pride dissolved into pure wonder at the endless possibilities that lay before him. This truth touches your own journey now. Every achievement, every expansion of consciousness, every dissolution of old limits opens your eyes to new horizons of potential. The very nature of freedom lies in this eternal unfolding, not in reaching some final state of liberation, but in remaining forever open to greater possibilities. To embrace this truth, pause now and engage in this timeless practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your awareness to settle into stillness. Visualize yourself standing upon a magnificent mountain peak, the cool wind carrying the scent of infinite possibility. As you gaze outward, see how countless paths extend in every direction, weaving through valleys and ascending peaks that stretch endlessly toward the horizon. Feel the excitement stirring in your heart as you recognize that each path represents a new dimension of growth, a new aspect of your boundless nature waiting to be explored. Let this vision fill you with joy, knowing that the journey of expansion never ends. It simply continues to unfold in ever more beautiful ways. Conclusion. As you turn these final pages, know that you have traversed sacred ground. The journey through these ancient teachings has awakened something profound within you, a recognition of the infinite power that has always resided in your heart. Look back now upon the path you've walked. Remember the tale of the caged bird, and see how you too have discovered wings you never knew you possessed. Recall the village that believed the world ended at the horizon, and notice how your own horizons have expanded beyond measure. Think of the lion raised as a sheep, and feel the strength that has awakened within you as you've reclaimed your true nature. These teachings, passed down through generations of wisdom seekers, have done more than simply inform your mind. They have transformed your very being. The limitations that once seemed so solid have dissolved like morning mist in the light of awareness. The boundaries that appeared to restrict you have revealed themselves as mere illusions, unable to contain your expanding consciousness. You now hold keys to understanding that have opened doors within you. As you integrate these timeless principles, you become a living testament to the boundless potential that exists within every human heart. Your transformation serves as a beacon, illuminating the path for others who sense there must be more to life than the limitations they've accepted. The wisdom contained in these pages now lives within you. It pulses through your veins, whispers in your thoughts, and guides your steps toward ever greater expressions of freedom. Let it be your constant companion as you continue to explore the infinite dimensions of your being. Remember always, this is not an ending, but a beginning. Each truth you've uncovered opens the door to deeper revelations. Each limitation you've transcended reveals new territories to explore. The journey of boundless living has no final destination. It simply continues to unfold, offering new opportunities for growth and expansion with every breath. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.